welcome back to It's Whatever, right? I'm your host, Jen. So, it's now Sunday. How is everybody's... I live in Canada, so we celebrate Thanksgiving, as I call it, Murder Day in October. So, how's everybody's Thanksgiving or Murder Day? Mine was okay. Can't complain considering, poor birds got murdered. I know that it's been a couple of weeks since we've been here. I'm trying for a little bit to do 2 podcasts a month instead of 4, like doing it once a week. So I'm going to do it every other weekend instead of every weekend for a little bit, and then just see how that goes. Well, welcome to October. It's almost Halloween in 2 weeks, so the next time that we will sit down and talk, or however you're listening this, whatever you're doing to listen to this, will be Halloween. My favorite holiday of the entire year. For me, Halloween is like Christmas for people, where they will start decorating their house in fucking mid-October, November, and it's like 2 fucking months long. Well, guess what, bitch? It's Halloween year-round for me. It's just socially acceptable to celebrate it more starting September 1st. September 1st to October 31st is technically Halloween season for me. I live daily in Halloween, but that's besides the point in who's actually counting, right? So, before we get into the actual topic of today's podcast, which is we're going to talk about masks. Like the mask you put on your face due to the awful plague that's going around today. I just wanted to, what is it, like, hit my own horn or something. I thought that I would never actually get this far. For reading, we're talking about books first. As I said multiple times before, I am a giant bookworm, which is completely fine with me, but I started recording my books the end of last year of 2019. My friend told me about this cool little website called Goodreads. Is basically where you just add up all your books, all the books that you want to read and you have read and you're currently reading, which is fantastic. I actually love it. And that's kind of where I've been finding some of my books to read. On Goodreads. You can have friends on the website, and I've been kind of stealing some book ideas from my friends. I'm like, oh, that looks like an interesting book, or wait until they've read it, and I'm like, oh, this got a shitty ass review. I don't think I will read it today, but okay. But anyways, I have read 92 books so far this year, and it's mid-October. Holy fuck. Like I said, I've never actually previous years, I've never actually counted how many books I have read. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I set a goal for 50 books for 2020, and I've read 92. And there's still about 2.5 months left of this whatever you call year. So I'm actually at this point, obviously I'm going to reach 100 books, but I'm kind of curious on how many books I can actually read, and I'm not even trying either. there's just like so many books I want to read, and the fact that I think some of it has to do with, since there is really not much we can do at this year because everything's kind of closed or limited hours, so you're basically, if you had to work this year, it's basically I am literally going to work, coming home to work, and working out and reading. That's basically my life. Mind you, in the past, month, I kind of slacked off on a whole bunch of my work, like working from home, between my art and writing, and a little bit of reading. Pretty much spent a couple of weeks just lying up in bed and basically just binge watching TV shows because that's all I could be motivated to do. But so far I was able to go for a couple of hikes in the past week and continuing on working on some art projects. Have some new ideas, which I'm super excited for. But besides that, I read 92 books, and I'm kind of curious to see how many books I can read in the remaining, 10 weeks of 2020. Wow, can you believe that there are fucking roughly 10 weeks left of the year? Holy shit. I am excited for this year to end, for obvious reasons, but I'm also curious to see what 2021 has to offer us, considering that 2020 was a roller coaster from hell. So, but I am super curious on what next year will bring us. Oh, and I just noticed, I think we're on episode, including this one, we are now on episode 30 of It's Whatever, right? Holy shit, I never thought that I would actually, be this far in my podcast, but that's, kind of fantastic. So, if you guys don't mind, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe now to, if you are listening this on Apple Podcast, or if you are listening to this on the YouTube channel, It's Whatever, right? That would be fantastic. And don't forget to like and comment down below. I'm always open to discussions and having conversations, and always into new ideas. If there is something you want to listen to, feel free to comment down below. If you are listening to this on YouTube, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, share so everybody can have the same experience as you, or not. It's whatever, right? But the topic today is face masks. Like the ones that we are having to wear when we go to the grocery store, or go to the gym, or even in the workplace, etc., etc. If anybody has to physically go to the office, or basically around anybody else but your people living in your household. To be honest, masks, it's one of those things where they're obviously not 100% effective, but they do the job. The whole purpose of a mask is, if you are the one that is sick, you basically keep the sick to yourself and you don't spread it around. But then you have those people who need to cough or sneeze will take the mask off and cough and sneeze, but that kind of destroys the whole fucking point in wearing a fucking face mask. The whole point of wearing a face mask is so that we are protecting each other from getting sick. That's the whole point. It's like saying, don't wear your seatbelt while you're driving. The people who had told you to wear a seatbelt are the same people who are telling you to wear a face mask. So, I mean, mind you, if you wear a seatbelt and you get in a car accident, you're not going to be flown from your vehicle, right? Yeah. It's kind of like a topic today because there was a kind of like a protest or a riot yesterday in Toronto, Ontario, and it's kind of like, I mean, I haven't really looked into it. Somebody had told me about this riot or the protest that was taking downtown Toronto yesterday, and about face masks. So we'll get into that in a second. Um, there's like some questions like when you write in Google and you get like all of these like other questions. So just for like a quick Google search of what is the purpose of wearing a mask, the whole like under the common questions in the Google search, are masks effective against coronavirus disease? Masks alone will not prevent the spread of COVID. So along with the masks, they're obviously not like by itself effective. Hand washing and like good hand hygiene and staying your 6 feet, staying home if you are sick, and not going out if you don't have to. Like, if you don't need to go out tonight, then what's the point of going out, right? The whole purpose of lockdown is so we can separate the humans from each other and we can get through, like, and kind of slow down on COVID, because it is a fast spreading virus that we are trying to kind of resolve in a way. So to answer my Google question of what is the purpose of a face mask, when worn properly, a person wearing a non-medical mask or face covering can reduce the spread of his or her own or their own infectious respiratory droplets. So basically, it just keeps your germs to yourself. Basically the same concept of after you go take a shit, you wash your fucking hands. Basically, that's what a mask is for your face. So when you cough or sneeze, it pretty much keeps it to yourself. That's like kind of like the one thing I don't understand about people. When people are told on, hey, here are some recommendations on how to stop the spread of a disease or a virus. Please take these precautions. And it's like some people who hear this or see this take it as, oh no, you are taking my rights away. No, we're not going to do that. But why though? If you see and read and hear all the time about how badly the flu is or how badly a virus is, why wouldn't you take the precautions of getting sick? You know what I mean? It's like face masks are a very good way to help try to prevent something like getting COVID. I mean, it's just kind of like a useless thing to even do. There are so much better things that you can go around protesting. Instead of protesting not wearing masks, anti-maskers, why don't you protest something that will actually do something better for the human good? Like, I mean, masks are the least amount of, like, there's no purpose of protesting against masks because, well, you wear a fucking seatbelt when you go fucking driving, so how's that any different? Skimming through some of these articles of like a crowd of 4,000 had protested in Toronto. Give it about maybe a week or two, and those would be like the same people who get COVID. I mean, I don't wish COVID on anybody because it is horrible to get. Those will be like the same people who be fucking bitching in the hospital that when they get COVID, oh, I have COVID and what are you going to do about it? Well, maybe if you weren't protesting, you wouldn't get sick. Just saying. I am actually curious on where people get the idea of how and why they are anti-mask. Like, how do people come up with this idea that it is better for them to not wear a mask? It is better to say the mask cuts off oxygen to your body, which is actually not true. I mean, mind you, it is a little stuffy inside the mask, but it's like when you go in for surgery, okay? It's like asking your doctor not to wear a mask, like your surgeon. When you have open heart surgery, it's like ask your doctor not to wear a mask during your surgery. Mind you, there are surgeries that take up until 32 hours. So that doctor has a mask on for 32 hours straight while he is doing, or she, or them, is doing your open heart surgery for 32 hours. And I mean, you're alive and you are listening. So I guess that doctor survived wearing a mask. I'm just curious on how some people get the idea that masks aren't helping at all. I mean, it is actually very annoying to have to put on a mask to go to work all day, and then wear a mask when you go to the grocery store, the gym, and then whatever else you have to do to get through your day, you got to put a mask on. I'm not really seeing on how people came up with the idea that masks are terrible and you don't need them. I mean, the whole conspiracy of you can't wear a mask because of XYZ, that's kind of been debunked on so many levels. Mind you, there are maybe one or two exceptions to this, but on the greater scale, there is really no particular reason for somebody not to wear a mask. I mean, like I said, wearing a mask doesn't necessarily take away your rights. It's trying to help you to not get sick. I mean, it's like the same concept of don't wear a seatbelt the next time you get into your vehicle. You're going to say wearing a seatbelt is for my safety and for the greater good, but so is wearing a mask. Like I did mention, wearing a mask is not 100% effective, but it does help contain it, just like washing your hands and not staying home when you are not feeling well, and stay home when you don't necessarily have to go out. In a way, that does make a huge difference. Just like reading articles on the 4 months when the world was on lockdown and everything was closed and we were not going out, the numbers of COVID had gone down. And then slowly, when we were allowed out each month, the numbers started skyrocketing again. That's kind of suspicious, isn't it? Mind you, half the population is wearing a mask and the other half is not. But, I mean, mind you, the difference between today in 2020 and with COVID and 1918 with the Spanish flu, two completely different viruses. But in 1918, they went through similar protocols in order to get through the pandemic, which is just your typical flu virus today. And they were able to lock everybody down in order to find a vaccine, which is your flu shot today, to help with flus. That's kind of what they're trying to do now, is trying to find a vaccine for or a cure or something for COVID. But it doesn't help when half the world is fucking Karen and refuse to help out and put a bloody mask on, wash your hands, and stay home if you're sick. I mean, how is that any different from your typical flu season, right? All of a sudden, just because you're being told to wear a mask, it's now you're not going to wear a mask. I mean, it's kind of like childish, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure that you have better shit to do in your day. Like get through your fucking day without getting COVID and just successfully just adult your way through life. And rioting and protesting on not wearing a mask and trying to get rid of all the lockdowns isn't really doing anything good in the world. If there's something that you want to change, why don't you put all the effort and energy in stuff that actually matters, like world hunger, for one. How about finding resources to getting clean water? How about there are children in the foster system and who are orphans, protesting on all of those things? I mean, mind you, those are more important things than arguing if you are going to wear a fucking mask today or not. I mean, there's better things you can do with your energy than argue over a fucking piece of fabric that is going over your face. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't really get what the big deal is. But the big difference between 2020 COVID and 1918 Spanish flu, the huge difference between, besides it being 100 years, is the fact that we have the technology today, okay, to solve not all, but most of our fucking problems that we have, okay? As human beings, we have the technology to solve a lot of shit. And we have the opportunity to actually, if you can, if the job that you're in allows you to, most of us are capable of actually working from home. They just send you home with some work tech and you just work from home. Some of us are able to physically actually already work from home, and you can order your groceries, you can order your clothes, shoes, whatever you fucking need to your fucking house. Art supplies. You can order shit from the fucking black market, okay? And you're all worried about wearing a fucking mask. Obviously, there are other problems in the world. That's kind of like the huge difference. In the 1918, you weren't able to actually work from home. It's either you work in healthcare and you have a frontline job, or guess what, buddy? You ain't working for the next year. Those were your two options. Um, Schools were closed, work was closed. The benefit of 2020 is the fact we have the technology to homeschool children, if that is your wish or your wish to send them to school. Okay. Um, you have the opportunity to work from home. You have the opportunity to start a business in your fucking underwear, half fucking naked, in your fucking bed, okay? And have like 3 beers in, or if you're like me, a whole pot of fucking coffee in, and work in your fucking underwear and half naked in bed. You have the opportunity and order everything online. That's kind of like the bonus of 2020, of where the century that we are in. So for people to go around whining, complaining at the fact that they have to wear a mask is really the least of your concerns. I am taking 2020 in consensus, is that the word? Um, it's kind of like, to me, 2020 is like a reboot for me, of finding out what I am and who I want to be with my own self. Mind you, this year didn't fix everything, but it's actually like still a shitty year for everybody. But I've actually learned a lot about myself this year in 2020. It's kind of like one of those, the world is slowing down for a moment. So have taken, because the year is almost over, have taken this year and really thought of what is it that I actually want to do in life? Where is it that I am going? And then go from there. So, why is it that you are arguing over a fucking piece of fabric? Do you not have something better to do with your life? Try and find out better solutions than wearing a mask. If the mask isn't working, is there something better that the government can, the world, the healthcare system can put in place instead of said mask? Maybe better ventilators, better screening, better drugs, better whatever it is. Those are the things that you should be protesting against instead of no mask. But that is all of my ranting done today. If you had liked this podcast, feel free to hit the subscribe button, the like button, comment down below if you're listening to this on YouTube. Don't forget to share to your friends so they can share the same experience as you, or don't, it's whatever, right? But anyways, until next time, I will talk to you later. Bye!